Don't tell me Andy can where
chicken.
Huh?
What's the Mexican? I got your Mexican.
Okay.
You look very tasty. Oh my god, why are you bringing chocolates?
I started my N6 class today, like, I know, someone, the one I showed you yesterday, the one with easy talk to you.
Yeah, when I'm talking terms.
Where the, you know that guy from 10th ICSE, Aradhya? So he came with home with all of us yesterday, like me, Vishwaja, Bhavya, and him. After that, we all went, like we went home together. And then like Bhavya पहले cycle लेकर गए, then वो विश्वजा को drop करके, then वो मेरे building तक आया, then he went. And we go, how are you going? He's like, I'm going home rickshaw, 8:30 now. 9:30, I'm sorry, no, you know where he is not reached home yet. Like, what the hell? 8:30 from he's going to the rickshaw. I'm the last person who saw him.
He's fine now?
Yeah. And like 9:40 again, I was like,
Where was he?
wait. I'm like, again, she called my mom like 10 minutes and she's like, his mom's on the other side. Can you just tell exactly where you saw him? That was the last person we see. And then after that, his mom was very scared. I'm like, auntie, I saw him with the collection cab here, the rickshaw stand. He told that he's going. Like, did you see him return the rickshaw? Didn't see him return the rickshaw, but he went like there and he said that he's going to go. Okay, thank you. And at 40, I'm like, ma'am, did you find him? Yes. वो कोई रिलेटिव के साथ भी घर पे चला गया और उसने घर पे फोन करके बताया नहीं like yeah so no
Yesterday which subject was
Social.
which
Algebra.
what is the yeah.
Geography.
he didn't actually do anything
Yeah.
he came late like he cancelled one class and the second class he was just talking to us in general this was just half an hour
There are how many lessons are left in geography?
All done.
and that was revision lecture
Actually, no. I think that is last lecture, no? Democratic rights, no? That and map he will take. And I will complete it today this lesson.
Okay.
Because I have a lot. Then Pashika bhi khatam karne ka. I'll see.
This one, right?
yeah
His friend had texted me like some time ago. With his teacher like, I'm sorry, but he's not good enough. I was like, hell no, I don't want to talk to him. I don't want to talk about it. So within a week of us having that conversation. And I confessed to my best friend that this conversation had come up. They were like, okay, you're just so one. I don't know, I don't feel nice. So that chick is in my class. And she looks quite similar to me.
and girl was copying you
She does, okay. She's rated all the way. She has a thing for you. A lot of girls in my school looks like they'll cut their hair like me. They'll ask me where I got my jacket from and then find the jacket to wear it to school next week. It's very freaky. It's a handful of them, not even a few, a handful of them.
but at least that means that you look very nice
That helps. That's the thing. So
That's what I
you.
told my mom. You know, my dad said to relatives, if my mom posts something on a status, my tidy she throw the photos to the exact clothes, exact shoes, and dress with a very color. I will freak out my mama. She's got everything same. Entire hair was in the same way. My mom said, so shouldn't I stop putting me and don't put things. Let her go
Like
and go.
relatives. Then we were sitting together, like I was sitting on this bench, she was sitting on that bench. Like we conversated a little bit, like we were not talking to him, right? And the day was also we were talking. He had a waist brace, right? He was injured. So like we got to talking, we talked a little bit, and then everybody started teasing him. I was like, one day, because he was not studying. And so the teacher told him, "Haan, class shut up." So इसके दोस्तों ने पढ़ लिया तो then मैं डांस प्रैक्टिस नहीं कंडक्ट करती हूँ ऑफ कोर्स मैं मास्टर हip hop सीखा मेरा नाम नहीं वो पढ़ने में he is a part of the dance. It's so awkward.
If you would have been in high school, you could actually have gotten a couple dances.
Listen, and then yeah, what do you call it? His friend was like, he wants to talk to him, and वो बात थोड़ा overlooked किया, like I never respond to that. But then
Let it go
person में he waited with me. I was like, you know, teacher ने come here, rush to the class. The entire school is empty. It's just me and his teacher. His teacher is a cool teacher, right? So I ran to the class to put the book on some other teacher's shelf because she asked me. He was standing there, and then he waited for me. Thanks, Glenn. My word. I was like, हाँ ठीक है, as if he waited for you. No, he could have gone before that, but I was talking to ma'am and he stopped there. So I need to talk to ma'am.
Yeah, waiting.
And then we left the school together, but he, as soon as I came to this footpath, he ran to that footpath.
He is also finding it awkward.
He's not finding it awkward. His friends would have seen him, they would have raped him a new one.
How are all the guys cute? And then all of them like,
Red flag.
yeah, then they're cute. So Jay,
What was he wearing and what was he doing?
black hoodie and the same thing.
Yeah, he
He was just with two girls. He was looking a bit tall.
Yeah, he grew a lot.
Yeah, and it's
the
and
same
then
guy.
easy that the same guy. And so pissed off with me. Mama, you know what he is? He said, Mama, he's just 1 year old, like super, you know. And he's
Well, who were the girls? Were they his
I
age?
don't know, like I don't know why they were like I didn't know them.
How did they look? I didn't tell who they were.
One was a little short.
Curly hair, one of them.
I didn't like steal them or something. I started bitching him. Mama, he thinks he's very smart. Yes, and so he's 1 year old. Right?
16.
Which chapter is reading, Abhi?
That working of the institution.
History of
PS.
Javier did not come yesterday.
He came yesterday. I have my socials exam on Monday.
This lesson is there, no? Working of institution is there.
Yeah, working of institution is there. Third chapter it is, right? Third or fourth?
Fourth.
Yeah, it's there. I don't have it.
I have to electoral politics.
All those lessons completed, no? Now working of the institution and this one, democratic rights. That day we have studied about how policy is taken, who are the decision makers. Then we have seen that the powers of the prime minister.
We have to look why powers of the president, right?
And why prime minister is important, council of ministers and cabinet.
We had done the deputy ministers last time.
That is what deputy ministers, that it is coming in the council of ministers. Yeah. Okay. Who all are included in that this thing, council of ministers? Which are the three category of ministers?
Deputy ministers, cabinet ministers, and state. What do you call it?
Minister of state.
Minister of state.
But cabinet is the first important one you have to tell. Then afterwards.
Second one is state.
Minister of the state. But they may have the independent charges. Deputy ministers are not having independent charges. Okay. Then we have also studied about what are the powers of the prime minister. Preeminent, that is, he is the leader of that government. Remember or not?
I don't remember. I studied for exams.
Once again, this one. First, once again we will see. Okay. Prime Minister has the right to form the Council of Ministers and to take the distribution of the portfolios. Ministers are given portfolios that is allocated by the Prime Minister. Then he allocates work, he coordinates the works of the different ministers. Okay. Then he leads the government. And he is the final word. That means if any dispute arises, his word is the final word. And then his work is of preeminence. That is first among equals. Among all the ministers is the first. That is why Prime Minister. Okay. Then another thing, he is the real executive. Whereas President is the nominal executive. Okay. Then he is the leader of the, he or she is the leader of the government. His advice only President do all his executive functions. Okay. Now, Union Council of Ministers. How Council of Ministers are elected? They are elected by the Prime Minister. That is as that party is the leading party. From among them, the senior members who have sufficient experience are taken and selected as the cabinet ministers. Understood? Then afterwards, that is why they are always the senior members. They have the expertise in doing the work. Then afterwards, below them, there are Minister of State. Minister of State with independent charges. And
so does that count the governor and all?
No, governor is another. That is, governor is coming in the state only. That governor is appointed by the president. They are not included. Governors are not included in the cabinet.
Okay.
Cabinet only ministers are there.
The elected ministers.
Clear?
Yeah.
So normally these ministers, majority of them are from that Lok Sabha. But in some cases, from Rajya Sabha also, the ministers can be chosen. But it is compulsory that the person who is appointed as a minister should be a member of either of the house. For example, Amit Shah, when he was chosen as the minister, he was home minister. He was not member of any house.
What?
He was the party chief. So then he had to be elected. That way he had been elected. Then only, that means he was chosen as the minister. Then within 6 months he got elected. So that is a compulsory criteria for becoming a minister. Clear? Then another maximum number of the Council of Ministers can be 60 to 80. Understood? So it should not exceed 80. And that include 3 categories. I am talking about all the 3 categories are included in the Council of Ministers. Then another thing, cabinet ministers are the most important members of the Council of Ministers. They are full-fledged ministers who hold important portfolios. Then cabinet ministers are usually top-level leaders. These all things I have mentioned already. Then cabinet ministers meet to take decisions in the name of Council of Ministers, since it is not practical for all the ministers to meet regularly. But the cabinet used to meet. Prime Minister and all the important ministers used to meet regularly to discuss about the
so what exactly are the portfolios of the cabinet minister? The finance, home
ministry, external affairs, foreign ministry, defense ministry. Even the
railway transportation.
Railway is having all 3 ministries, because that is the largest public sector undertaking. and it need because diversified 16 regions are there. Plus the metro services are different and other service suburban are different. So, but still, in order to carry out the whole administration, they need the three level ministers. Understood? Then even finance ministry is having that one deputy minister also, a minister of state also. That is also one large.
Ministry.
Then defense ministry, external affairs, foreign ministry, then education also.
Yeah.
Now it is included as education ministry. Earlier it was human resource. Last this time only they have included it as a education department or education ministry. Earlier human resource development, HR. Okay. Now you understood all the three categories. So always when they are meeting, the meetings are with the cabinet ministers. And some cases, the minister of states also can be called. There are very rare occasions all the ministers are.
Why is that? Why don't we have
It is not possible. See, if any urgent decision has to be taken.
House of Parliament can contain all of these ministers all at the same time?
See, how parliament sessions, maximum 3 sessions are taking place. So it is a lengthy procedure. So what all bills have to be made, what all events have to be taken place. These all things are planned. So then it is not possible that in the middle of that
Yeah.
cabinet meeting, ministerial meeting can be done. Cabinet meeting can be done at any time.
Yeah,
Because-
it's not a lot.
Because what is that? There is a kind of collective responsibility. You just mark if that is the. What is collective responsibility? See, now Prime Minister and the Cabinet meet. One important decision regarding the finance department is taken. Okay, so it is related to the finance, and all the ministers who assembled, that is cabinet, have to agree upon. Once it is passed, it is not the decision of the finance minister, it is the decision of the whole cabinet. Understood? See, if you are the finance minister, you presented the bill. You presented bill now. Suggestion only you are putting. Bill and all in the parliament only taking place. But in front of the cabinet, the topic is presented for discussion, and everyone have their own opinions. But within that time only they can discuss. But once it is passed, it is the decision of the whole cabinet. If it failed also, it is not the responsibility of that finance minister, it is the collective responsibility of all the ministers. The success and failure of that particular decision goes to all the ministers. If they have to resign, if that is two things you might have heard about, no confidence motion. Have you heard about it?
Yeah, when the opposition is successfully passed a majority saying that they don't have confidence in the government.
So if no confidence is passed, all the ministers, including that prime minister, have to resign.
Why? Why do we give the opposition this type of power? Right? If they successfully have the majority, or even if it is a good government and then the opposition is able to pass it, then
Never opposition will be able to pass. because majority is always with
The
the
ruling part.
ah.
And then what's the use of family?
But sometimes what is that is some
The British Parliament passed no confidence, right? Recently.
America Biden के खिलाफ
No, like before Rishi Sunak, they had a no confidence motion in the female prime minister that they had, right? They said that she cannot continue in the.
That earlier. Then only he was elected.
Yeah.
Oh.
They passed it against Joe Biden?
Then now it is given against Joe Biden that no confidence.
He's, however, not a good leader anyway.
Because of some illegal, some money laundering.
The old man did money laundering?
I don't
I
know.
don't even need
It has to be. It has to be.
years.
It has to be proved. No. So okay, your question is that why they are getting this. See, some kind of issues which are not discussed in the parliament because they are having that blind majority. Means that kind of majority is there, means there is no chance. But that issue has to be brought before the parliament for discussion at least. So that type of topics can be brought by the opposition. So every member every party get a chance to discuss about. That's a good thing because drawing the attention of all the members towards a particular issue, otherwise go unnoticed. So that is, it is not just for passing and oust them from power. It's not possible. They are knowing that. But still, at least 2 to 3 days, one very good argument related to that particular issue can be taken. So that is why it is in the name of no confidence. Why no confidence? Because of this particular activity. So that is drawing the attention of the members towards that. That's a healthy one.
Okay.
Every party, there is some small parties are also there. One member may be there. They are also getting a chance to express their opinion. So that way, that Manipur, that problem, it was brought to the parliament because through the no confidence motion. They were damn sure that it is not going to be passed, but still brought and discussed for 2-3 days, and afterwards the government's attention was drawn towards court also. Court also that Saji, come fast.
Take the, what do you call it, attendance.
Wait. So, because of that, even the Supreme Court attention was also drawn towards that issue, and they have taken that issue. Court have taken directly that issue. So these all things are healthy activities. Understood? Vote of confidence is presented by the ruling party. They are calling the attention of the members towards the government. Understood? 2 days back, Parliament was attacked. Parliament was not attacked. In the visitors gallery, some people came and they used that gun. It was not that costly gun to attack, but they were caught. But how come they enter into
the gun?
Enter into the parliament? So it is an issue, that is the safety of that parliamentarians. That it was the anniversary of that earlier attack,
2611.
No, 2611, no. The 13th December Parliament attack was there.
Yes.
So these people entered into the gallery. So how come?
They're compromising the safety of the, what do you call it, the parliament members.
So that security breach only. So this is what happening. in order to draw the attention towards that, government has done all these things. So for that also they are preparing this vote of confidence. How many of you are supporting this? Now the government is in a victorious stage only. They are very happy because Supreme Court has passed that annulment of 370.
Yeah.
So that is what they got.
There's a lot of downsides with all the so-called benefits they are proposing. It has a whole lot of downsides to it.
What?
The Article 375.
370.
Yeah, 370.
That is special status to Jammu and Kashmir.
Exactly. Page number 7, 370. Shatner.
Okay. Got this no confidence motion and vote of confidence. And if no confidence motion is passed, Prime Minister along with the cabinet have to resign. So that is what the power.
So you're basically firing the, what do you call it, the minister.
Means they are controlled by the legislature. That is what the meaning of it. Means without any control, they cannot do. So we are here to control you. There are question hours. So question hours means related to the ministry, they are asking the questions. So minister is responsible to answer the queries. Understood? There are written answers required, there are oral answers required. So they get adequate time to prepare the answers for it. So these all ways they are controlling. Legislature is controlling the executive. Got it? Now let's see the President of India. So this part you have to listen very carefully. India is not having presidential form of government. We are having parliamentary form of government. What is the meaning? Parliament is more powerful than the president. So directly we are not electing the president. Got it? So let's see how the president is elected. His election is indirect. There is an electoral college formed consisting of the members of parliament and members of the legislative assemblies. Who are the members in the electoral college?
MLAs and MPs.
MLAs and MPs. Okay. So this electoral college, if you are taking, we know that some states are having more members. Some states are having less number. So now how this kind of differences can be sorted out? So for that purpose, there are preferential voting. What is called a preferential? What is that? Here, one person, let's take that Maharashtra. Maharashtra Assembly, 288 members are there.
What?
288 MLAs.
These many people for one state. What are they doing together? Preparing food?
UP is having 400 and something. So like that, some states are having more MLAs. Whereas we take that Goa 60 only. So in order to equalize that, here Goa MLA will get more votes to equalize. That is according to that rationalization of this numbers, they are getting preferential. So they have to give their preferences. So what is that? If 5 members are contesting for the presidential election.
How often does the president get changed?
5 years term.
Okay.
President is having 5 years term.
When is Draupadi Murmu's terms expiring? When is she?
See, no, last year only, 2023 only she got elected.
Yeah.
23 July.
So it is not in line with the Prime Minister's
No,
election.
no.
It happens on its own terms.
That is July when it is that 5 year term ending. Means second term के लिए अगर she want,
She can contest.
she can contest, but mostly
She won't get it.
no. This one it depends upon the government's interest. Government wanted to keep that person to be re-elected, then only. It's not a personal interest.
Okay.
Some are very good presidents, so they got a second term. Many were that, but they are Sharma and all got 2 terms. Even I think K.R. Narayanan, like that. So mostly in presidential case, minority communities are getting the chance. That is one main condition. Minorities. It can be minority caste, minority tribes,
Minority religions?
religious minority also.
So like Sikhs, Muslims, they get.
Yes. Sikh president was also there. Yani Sel Singh. So Muslim president was also there. So like
Abdul
that.
Kalam.
So that is one of the criteria.
You need to be a part of that.
So Brahmins also, if they are minorities, they are also getting.
Brahmins are not minorities. They are not considered minorities.
Minorities depends upon the numerical data.
Exactly, yeah. Brahmins are not considered a minority in India. They are one of the most populous, like, what do you call it? Brahmins are the second class of Hindus. What do you call it? Kshatriyas. They make up the majority of Hindu population.
So whoever, this thing concept is that minorities are getting the preference. That is why recently this tribal community. Then one earlier president was the first ever woman president of India, Pratibha Patil community. So that is also considered as that minority. So like that, that is the prime concept of choosing the president. Okay, this point is clear. After that, if 5 candidates are contesting for presidentship, the person can give their preferences. So if my first vote is that here 5 names, you just tell me. 5 names you tell.
Any name.
Any name. So we are.
Aditi is contesting and I am contesting. Ritika. We're not taking Bhavya, I'm sorry.
Five.
Not Bhavya.
5%.
We'll take Trisha. She'll win. Trisha. Trisha.
One
And
more.
then Janice. Janice.
CE. Okay. This 5%.
Let's ensure that Bhavya loses.
Now, if a person, that is this many members are there, that is the whole parliament, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha members, then the whole country's the legislative assembly members. So like that, this many numbers are included in the electoral college. They are giving the vote. So they will make a choice among that if one person is going and giving the first preference to Janice, okay, the second preference to this person,
So
Third, I'm just telling one example only.
Trisha gets fourth, ma'am. Trisha gets fourth.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. One person only I told. The other person, when that person is coming, another order it will come. Now, all first preferences, that is all 5 candidates, first preferences will be counted. Got it? All candidates, first preferences will be counted. If anyone got 50% and above, that person is declared elected.
Trisha gets elected.
Now, if nobody get in the first round that 50% and above, then the second preferences will be counted. Everyone's second preference. Now, this time, one more thing they will do, that is the fifth preference. That means if this one, Janice, is getting the fifth preference, that fifth preference will be added with her second preference.
Why fifth? Like,
Fifth is the least one, no? In case I have to give 5 vote, so my fifth vote is to that, like that. So some people have given her fifth number. Understood? So that fifth will be added with the second preference.
Everyone.
Everyone's, your name also, your second preferences plus the fifth.
So if I got, let's say, 100 second preferences and let's say 35th, so they get added on 30.
So, are you getting? So, in that case, who is getting that 50% vote, that person will be declared elected.
What if here also we find nothing?
So that only I am going to tell.
If one person has more of 50 votes,
That
then means they're not actually wanted by the people. No?
but that person's second preference only that 50 is added.
But then no one
अभी
wants the person.
सबका second preference के साथ fifth preference add करते हैं.
Okay, let's say they got 5 second preferences
हाँ.
and 100 fifth preferences, and others on the other hand got 30, 70, 20, 60. Then how's this fair?
So that is not fair. That is why nowadays what they are doing. That is what I am going to tell. This is the code. Okay. Now what the government is doing, they will not make so many candidates. They will make one candidate. So opposition together will take one candidate. So only 2 candidates are there. And in order to muster the support from all the states, this government will use their machinery to get the support. So in the first preference itself, one person will get more than 60%, 70% vote. Understood? The government mechanism is there. So they use that mechanism to get the support of the states. So this is what happened in the last election. Last election, the Jaswant Singh was that a common candidate for opposition.
Okay.
So he was actually belonged to the BJP, and then only he resigned from the BJP and he was having an independent. So all the opposition parties together selected him as a candidate. Now BJP feared that there is a chance for him to come. So last step, woman candidate and tribal. So these two, when it come, opposition also joined this side. This is what happened at the last moment. That was that inside that what is the last drop.
The last emerging star for them.
Okay, this is how now the present scenario is. They will choose that type of candidate who can muster the support of all the states. Clear? So there is no need of recounting or second preference or third preference or like that. Is it clear now?
Yes.
Now presidential election, why president is elected in that way? So indirect election. There is a reason. If presidential election is a direct election like that of prime minister, the president will be a rival candidate. Understood? In the parliament also, direct opposition can come. So that is why presidential candidate will be indirectly elected.
Why, if we want to prevent, like, what do you call it, concentration of power, so we have two people as heads, which is head of state and head of government. Why don't we just have a board of like people at the, like, just like 5 people who we consider like ministers of supreme power, I guess.
See, we have studied in our history part directory.
Yeah, oh yeah, German directory.
German, no, that one, that is diet. Here, directory French. Napoleon emerged out of it. So they never agree upon any of the decision. So we don't want such kind of rivalry in the administration. That is why our constitution makers have made all these things in a proper order. That is why the defense, the president is considered as the supreme commander of the
Defense.
So,
but do they even take the president's command before doing anything?
No, they are not. He is not going to give any command.
Okay.
He is just official person. Otherwise, if military is given more power, or if defense forces are given more, happen to Pakistan, the same system will come in India also. That is why they want to separate everything. Each command was having different heads. Naval chief is there. All heads are different. Air chief marshal is for the Air Force. So like that, different heads are made, and all three are controlled by president. President is just nominal head. So that is why. Have you signed? That is why, in order to avoid this kind of complications, this particular system is. This is clear? Now let's see what are the presidential powers. We have already seen that he is only the nominal head. In name, that person is there. Now, let's see the powers when we study. It is divided into executive powers. The first power is executive powers. This is related to the appointments. All important appointments of the country is done by president. That is, there are attorney generals, there are some chief justices of the Supreme Court and High Court. Then, what is that? High commissioners, ambassadors. All important appointments are made by the president. But while appointing them, he or she has to get the advice of the Prime Minister and the Cabinet. So, in the real sense, they are only choosing, and the President have to make the official announcement.
Poor president, that is so bad.
Then,
Why don't we give them something to do in life with their own opinion?
so appointments
They get
include.
money. They get money.
No, it's like Aditi, the food is nice, tell Bhavya to eat it. And then Aditi is the president, Aditi will be like, Bhavya, eat the food. The Prime Minister told you to do that. What's the point of appointing the president?
So, the president is appointing the governors of the state or important appointments. Okay. Now, next is that international treaties and agreements are made in the name of president. We know that the prime minister go to other country,
countries.
made an agreement, but that is also done in the name of president. Making war and peace, declaring war and peace, declare emergency. All these important works are done in the name of president. These all things are coming as executive powers. Got it? Now, another thing is that, see, when your question was that just official head only, don't he have any power to decide?
Yeah, it's like I'm telling Aditi to tell Bhavya to eat the food, and then Aditi is making the decision of asking Bhavya to eat the food. What's the point?
So that is why only the president can make a suggestion that prime minister can accept
Hurts.
or
That hurts.
so
Poor
only
president.
can make a suggestion or keep it for some more time.
Yeah, he can only withhold it for a certain amount of time. Otherwise, he has to pass it if it comes
Yes,
second
yes.
round.
That is why.
How rude.
In some states, when there is a failure of government or government machinery,
Presidential.
so that condition is known as president's rule. Actually, president is not ruling. President's deputy only the governor. There. Every state, governors are the deputies of the president. They are also having nominal powers. Okay. But some governors are actually exercising the real power. For example, that they are the chancellors of that universities.
Yeah.
Chancellor, universities head, the chancellor, university, education department. No, it is chancellor. That is a post.
Okay.
That is the official post. Every state, education, that higher education is there. No? That universities, that the chancellor is governor. That is one official post. But everywhere the state is controlling. They are making appointments according to their interest and all. Pro vice chancellors and all are appointed by the state. So some governors are very powerful enough to that not to sign any of such document. Question. Recently means last few months, Kerala governor is fighting with the state. He did not sign 14 documents which the government sent to him. And it will become a big crisis. And it went to the Supreme Court whether the governor can do or not. Just before it was discussing in the court, Supreme Court, that previous evening he signed one that he can do. Rest of the things went to the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court told that is he cannot, or that the governors cannot literally fight with the state. State government is elected body, but some powers to be there, he can exercise. That way, whatever he did, some of the things the Supreme Court also accepted. Some things the government have to come down on. That means to revise its policy. So that way, certain areas the governors are exercising the power. Actually, it is because of that what we call fight between two parties. Mostly the governors are appointed by the government only, central government. So their party members only that governors, and the states are having different parties. So everywhere there will be clashes. Some governors are very powerful enough to stop them from interfering in that matters. Some are just signing machine. Okay, what to do? Like that. So here, whatever government have done, the wrong things, he questioned. This word. Okay, now our topic is appointment, and we have told that the president's rule. This also you understood, no?
Yeah.
President's rule.
Function and the presidential system.
Then
Judiciary.
another thing, the this one is executive. Now legislative function. Can you tell what is the legislative function? You just remember when you are writing. Don't mix up. If executive functions are asked, as an executive, what all other functions are there? Legislative functions are different from executive. What is that a legislative function? He addressed the joint session of the parliament after the general election. Got it? Then he in every this thing year the government's policy are presented by the president. That is legislative assembly only, means parliament only.
Google Assistant The Google Assistant spoke up again. Ask the poor boy to eat lunch and shut up.
It just randomly switching on. It's not.
Okay. Now, next one is that any bill become a law only when president give his assent. That is signature part only, assent we are talking. So every bill become law only when president give assent.
Since mobile data is turned on, you'll have to turn on Wi-Fi.
Switch
It
off
works
now.
on it.
I switched it off.
Yeah, it works. It's a phone of its own mind. The phone is switched off entirely and it's speaking regardless.
So in your school also you carry this one? No?
It's not allowed.
Ma'am, they said right, machines are taking over. Look, machines have taken over.
It's going on like random.
Legislative function is clear?
Yes.
Which are they? One is that addressing the joint session after the general election. Then every year the first session will start with the president's address. Then next, every bill become a law only when president give assent.
Assent means
Assent is signature only, but that term is
It's
assent.
compulsory. It's not power.
But theoretically it is read.
Second time I have to करना पड़ता है.
हाँ, like you cannot hold it.
Then another this legislative function, as much you can write about how the ordinances are issued when parliament is not in session. He can issue ordinance. Ordinance have a validity of maximum 6 months. Before that, the parliament have to pass it into a law. Otherwise, its validity will go. Clear? Now, next one is that
Destiny,
Within of your social. Discretionary powers. This is a very different thing.
Discretion basically means the will of the
Yes,
president. Like
yes.
the president wants to.
He also enjoys that. He or she enjoys that discretion. What is the discretion? One, if there is no party getting majority after the general election, if no party get the majority, he can use his discretion of choosing the prime minister. But in that case, he will give a particular time. That is, within 15 days, you have to prove the majority. Understood? So, this is what a power of discretion. Clear or not? Huh? What is power of discretion? Tell.
The power of discretion.
If there is no majority party, then he can appoint the prime minister.
And then ensure that within 15 days he summons a majority.
Prove the majority in the house. So that is what a discretion is. Secondly, another discretion is also related to that only. If the prime minister die or resign the post.
Has any prime minister died so far?
Yes. See, Indira Gandhi, when she was prime minister only, she died. She was killed. So that time, another prime minister had to be chosen. So that choosing of prime minister in case of the death or resignation of the prime minister. So that also discretion. Clear? What is discretionary powers? Judicial powers. What are the judicial powers? That include appointment of that chief justices and all. Another thing is that grant pardon.
Yeah, he can just forgive anybody's crime and then not have them punished. Corporal punishments, especially when someone is put to the death punishment, they can appeal to the president.
That also one person immediately cannot do. Yeah. That is, if that person is imprisoned for life and that person was in jail with a very good life. Means he proved that he is
suitable enough to integrate into society.
Yes. Then that person can appeal to the president for pardon. That is, he has to look after that family. Nobody else is there. So if government find that his request is genuine, then the government can tell. This is mostly happening just before the Independence Day or Republic Day. That time only this kind of granting the pardon comes. Understood? So because first year or second year it will not happen. That is, many times if that person appealed, that is according to that certificate from the jail, and against that person there is no such cruel things earlier or later reported. So in that case, president can
what do you call it? Nirbhaya, the Nirbhaya case, right? The people who are getting executed multiple times, they appealed, what do you call it, for a pardon or just to not give them the death punishment. What do they think? Their punishment will be simply, what do you call it, discarded if they appeal it enough times, because it was their lawyers were going ballistic. They were sending request after request to just delay it or cancel it.
Yes.
You did heinous crimes.
Another one is that Rajiv Gandhi is
yes.
That way also. So like that cases, that granting the pardon, it is the decision of the president. Now another thing is that Any more points there? Yes, one of you fast, you powers and functions of president, you read. All governmental activities take place in the name of the president. All laws and major policy decisions of the government are issued in her name. All major appointments are made in the name of the president. These include the appointment of the Chief Justice of India, the judges of the Supreme Court and the High Courts of the states, the governors of the states, the election commissioners, ambassadors to other countries, etc. All international treaties and agreements are made in the name of the president. The president is the supreme commander of the defense forces of India. But we should remember that the president exercises all these powers only on the advice of the Council of Ministers. The president can ask the Council of Ministers of reconsider its advice. But if the same advice is given again, she is bound to act according to it. Similarly, a bill passed by the Parliament becomes a law only after the President gives assent to it. If the President wants, she can delay this for some time and send the bill back of the Parliament for reconsideration. But if the Parliament passes the bill again, she has to sign it. Why is it she or we? Actually, that word he or she normally give. But when it is country, always what feminine gender we are using.
Even in NCRTC, it's always she.
Feminine only, no? When a party or coalition of parties secures a clear majority in the elections, the president has to appoint the leader of the majority party or the coalition that enjoys majority support in the Lok Sabha. When no party or coalition gets a majority in the Lok Sabha, the president exercises discretion. The president appoints a leader who is, in her opinion, can muster majority support in the Lok Sabha. In such a case, the president can ask the newly appointed prime minister to prove majority support in the Lok Sabha within a specified time. Okay. So, President, everything I have explained. Now, today I am having up to 6 o'clock only. So, do you want any break?
5 minutes.
Okay. Otherwise, no, I want to complete that Lok Sabha and the judiciary. Today, I want to complete this thing. Huh?
Yes, ma'am.